Recently, I went on a trip and I parked my car in long-term parking. And I got home late at night, about 11:15 or so. By the time I came out and got to the long-term parking lot, it was dark. It was about 11:30. And I get to my car and I hit the clicker. It opens and I get in. My car won't start. And it's 11:30 at night and I'm tired. I've been on a long trip. And so immediately I just get out my phone and dial up AAA and got them on the phone. And as I'm on the phone, a man knocks on my window. I could not open up my window because the power wouldn't work on my car. So I opened up the car door and I said, "Hi, what's up?" And he said, "Hey, I lost my wallet. Is there any chance you could give me a few dollars to get my car out of the long-term parking?" And I'm like, "You know what? I don't have any cash on me right now." I said, "Sorry, I'm dealing with my own issue." I said, "Can't you just use your phone and call? You obviously live here. Can't you call a family member or a friend to help you out?" And he said, "Oh, well, yeah, they stole my phone too." And I was kind of looking at him and I said, "Well, can you just maybe go to the parking attendant?" Well, I was on the phone with AAA and the lady on the phone says, "Get in your car and shut the door and lock it right now." And I was like, "Okay." And I did that. And he walked off. And she said, "Where is he?" And I said, "I don't know. He just kind of walked off in the darkness." And she said, "I'm calling the sheriff right now." And she had already called the tow truck to come to help me. And she said, "I'm going to stay on the phone with you." She said, "That's very odd that a man at 11:30 at night would approach a lone woman in a dark parking lot and ask her for money and say his wallet and phone were stolen." She said, "We have had incidents of people who have been accosted or abducted when something like that happens." And I didn't think about it at the time because I was just kind of so focused on my own problem for what was going on that I just was kind of stunned. I thought, she said he could have just come over, hit you over the head with something or whatever, and taken your purse or whatever he needed to do. But I'm going to stay on the phone with you until either the sheriff gets there or the AAA guy gets there. And so the AAA guy got there and I was able to get my car started. But I thought, these are the type of things that you don't think about sometimes when you're traveling. I think about my safety all the time, but I guess I was in a familiar airport parking lot, and I kind of let my guard down. I felt kind of safe being there. And he approached me, and it wasn't like a scraggly looking guy or anything. I mean, he had, decent pants on and a shirt. But as I thought about that later, I thought that is really weird that he would approach a lone woman way back out in long-term parking and ask her first for money and then say, "Oh, I don't have my phone. It was all stolen." And actually, I'm really thankful that I was on the phone with AAA at the time because she was the one that said, "Get in your car and shut the door," because I'm just starting to have a conversation with this guy like, "Hey, can't you just go and like ask the people at the gate to help you or something?" And so it was one of the things I thought it would be a great idea to think about. Again, safety, especially as a solo female traveler, for what we could or should be doing on our travel adventures to help keep us safe, and when we're caught off guard like that, what we're supposed to do. So one of the things that I learned to do now is whenever I've landed, number one, I text, obviously, David or someone that I've landed, but also to put on my phone, if you have Google Maps on your phone and you click on Google Maps and you hold it down, it's going to pop up with this share location. So this way I can get out there and share my location. It would know, hey, she's out in long-term parking. This is where she was last seen or something like that. So even if I'm out and about on my travel adventures, if I'm feeling like I'm a little unsure, I don't know where I'm at, or I'm in a ride and I'm not sure exactly, I'm not feeling as safe. I had that happen with an Uber once where the Uber driver went off of the maps and I got a little concerned because I was in kind of a sketch area of DC. And I thought, that's kind of weird. Why would he go off map and bring me to this kind of sketchy area? So I was sharing my ride. And that's another thing. When you're taking Uber or Lyft, they do have parts of that app that allow you to share your ride with someone or several people so they know who you got in the car with, what time, expected arrival time, and things like that. So I had one where David said, "You didn't let me know that you arrived." And he was, trying to call and text me, but I was busy. I trying to get luggage and stuff, and I didn't look at my phone. And he got very concerned because I never let them know that I arrived and things like that. So those are some things that are safety things. Uber and Lyft and even Google Maps, if nothing else, will let you send your location to someone so they at least know where your last known location was. And that can help out you or the police or anyone else should something horrible kind of happen off of that. One of the things I carry with me all the time is some sort of tools that help me have a little bit more safety and things like that. And this is my set. And no, I don't carry every single one of these things all the time, but I wanted to have them with me so I could show you what they are and let you know why I carry them. And let me get them all off of this little keychain thing first so I can talk to you about them in order. Hold on, give me a second. They're all on here pretty good. Okay, the number one thing that I carry with me for safety, just for other things, it's like just a little clip that you put on zippers to on each end of a zipper to help keep a zipper locked on your purse or something like that. So this is one of the things that I really like to take with me. It's not a lock per se, but it keeps the zippers kind of closed so that someone's going to have a hard time getting into anything like a pocket or anything like that. So I keep one of these. The other thing is I always carry a little titanium carabiner. And that's where I can put things like this on. I keep things like these on here. So when I'm ready to travel, I just can grab this and it's with me. So this little titanium carabiner and this little zipper lock are the first things. The second thing I always bring with me is a titanium whistle. This is a great one. It might be a little loud here, but it gets people's attention. It's extremely lightweight. I love that. And that goes on here too. The next thing I take with me on most of my travel adventures is this. It is a multi-tool that does not have a knife in it, and I like that because obviously you can't take a knife when you're traveling. Now, however, I will tell you, every TSA agent or security checkpoint agent is different depending on the region you're going into. This is fairly expensive. If I'm going into a region where I think they might confiscate this, I will not bring it. But here in the United States, I have not had a problem with it. I usually leave it outside, so I'll put this on the carabiner and hook it to the outside of my bag so they know it's not being hidden, that I know what it is. And as long as I have it on the outside of my bag, I have no problems taking that with me. What I like about this one is it has a pair of pliers and wire cutters, so if I need something like that. It also has a tiny pair of scissors. These things actually work really well for cutting paper, small little things, tags off of things like that, threads if you're doing a little bit of sewing. And of course it has like your little screwdrivers. It also has a tiny, tiny pair of tweezers like this right here that allow me to get things. These actually do work well. Like I had to get a tick out once and that worked really well for me. It has its own little carabiner here if you want to use it as a carabiner or as a bottle opener. And I believe it has a little like screwdriver end and a nail file. I wouldn't use this nail file. It's not the best nail file in the world, but hey, if you broke a nail and you had to use it, you could. And of course the end becomes a little screwdriver tip. And so this is a great little multi-tool to have. But again, because it's not that cheap, I don't take it to every country that I go to, but on certain countries I will take it. And then that will go on here as well. I also like to bring a light like this. You can see, is it dead? There it is. A bright light like this is a great thing to have, whether I'm looking in my purse or looking at something, down in my bag when I'm traveling, or a lock or something like that, a nice bright light. What I love about this one has a lot of different brightnesses, as you can see here, and allows me to, is it off? There it is. It's off. And it also has a clip so that I can clip this onto pants or a pocket. And it also has a magnet in here. So if I wanted to magnet, like let's say you were looking something metal and you wanted to have this hooked up there, this would work. And of course it'll go on a keychain. So this is by Rovivon. I've had this one for a while, but it's one of my favorites because it just serves so many purposes. The next thing I have is this tiny little bottle opener, as you can see right here, but it's also a little pill case. So I can put things like some, pills that I need to have right inside of here. They keep all of these in there. And that way I have access to a couple little things that I need pill-wise if I need to get to them. And again, because it's a two-in-one and very versatile and multi-purpose, it has, like I said, a bottle opener, a little flathead screwdriver right here, and it also has the keychain, and it's also titanium. Almost everything I'm going to show you is titanium because it's really lightweight. And so this makes a great thing to have multi-purpose. The next thing is a pen, and this pen is one of those pens that will write upside down and everything like that. What I like about it is it fits on a keychain, and that if I press this down, this little part down, that's what releases the pen. What I don't like about it is the pen doesn't stay in here. So if you're going to write with it and you have big hands, this might be a little bit small, as you can see here. But if you need to fill out forms, like customs forms when you're coming into a country, always having a little pen is great like this. I just wish that the cap would like stay on here, like become, so you don't lose it kind of thing. It also make it a little bigger, but it doesn't do that. But it will keep it on here, like pressing this back in and putting it on allows that little pen to stay right in there. And always having a pen is good to have to do some writing. The next three things are also a couple of multi-tools. This one actually is one that looks like a key, as you can see right here. And it has a bottle opener, a little flathead screwdriver right here. And it's very lightweight. And I also have it on a titanium key ring. These are little lightweight key rings that are perfect for this type of travel when you want to carry something but not have the weight. All these little things add up in weight. So, you know, as long as you can get things a little bit lighter each time, titanium is a great metal for that. But it has this little hex thing here. So if you have a hex bolt or something you want to do, if you're just someone who wants to carry something very basic and looks like a key, this one is a great one to have. This next one is another favorite, and I like this one because it has a couple of different things. It has a bottle opener, as you can see right here. It also has a little screwdriver point you could even do for a Phillips head, and then flathead screwdrivers here, and a pry, like a nail pry or something. It's a nice weight of this. Again, I have it on one of these little titanium key rings. But if I had to use it for self-defense or something, it's something that I felt like I could use, and this could gouge pretty easily if someone got up close to me and I needed to use something like this to be able to use as a little bit of self-defense, that I'd be able to do that. So kind of depends on where I'm going. Like I said, I don't carry all of these all the time with me, but I kind of pick and choose depending on where I'm going. The last thing I take is this, which is a little utility knife. And what I love about it is I can work it with one hand, so I can just open it up and have a utility knife right at the ready, right like this. I know you're going to say you can't fly with this. So the reason why I like this is because just by simply lifting this, I can pull this blade out, leave it at home, take this part with me, which right now looks like a little bottle opener, you know, on a keychain. And then when I get to my destination, you can find these just about anywhere. I like this one because it has the 4 notches. So that's what this comes with. And I bought some of these for at home, but you can use with the 2-notch, most of your normal, let me see, most of your normal blades come with 2 notches. This comes with 4. And as long as I can get a blade in this, it'll work just fine. This blade just slips right in here all the way down. There's a little magnet in here that helps draw the blade back down. So if I have it open and I'm using it, great. But if I'm not using it, then I just let it go. And then it falls right back down in there, out of the way. And it's not going to be something that opens up and, you know, cuts me, because you actually have to open this little lever here. That is what you open to actually push up the blade. I like it that I can work it with one hand like this and lock it into whatever position I want to use it. I know that sounds crazy, like why do you bring a box cutter? But normally I'm opening up Amazon boxes or things like that. I always like to have a blade. And as far as self-defense goes, I like that if I had to push this blade all the way up and use it as something to help defend myself, I could do it. Folds really flat again, drops down, folds flat, fits into my pocket nicely. Only wish I had for this is I wish it had a little clip so that I could clip it on, but this fits so smooth and easy into a pocket. I carry this with me every time I travel. As far as traveling with things like this, remember, do your research before you bring any sort of thing that can be considered a weapon into a country. Every country and region has its own rules, and you need to do that research before you bring it. If you are in doubt at all, don't bring it. The last thing you need to do is be held up in customs or in jail because you brought something in you didn't do your research on. So do your research first before you bring in anything that could be considered a weapon on your travel adventures. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video, and do me a favor, if you have something that you carry with you on your travel adventures that helps you feel safe and a little more protected, drop it in the comments because I'd like to know. I think everyone would like to know. If you could do me a favor, hit the like button and the subscribe button because I put out a travel video every once in a while and it'll let you know that I did it. And remember, folks, adventure favors the prepared. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.